Shaiva samupasate Shivayiti Brahmeti Vedantino Bauddha Buddha iti Pramana Padavaha Karteti Nayayikaha Arhan Nityatha Jaina Shasanarataha Karmeti Mimamsakaha Soyam vo vidadhatu vanchita phalam Trahilokyanaatho harihi Soyam vo vidadhatu vanchita phalam Trahilokyanaatho harihi Madhya hridaya kashe Sadanandamayo Guruhu Uderatam Samyak Ajnanatimidarunaha Harihi Om Tats Jai Guru. We are discussing the subject of conflicts of the mind and their redressal through knowledge. On the one hand, this is a discussion of the complex mind and the complexity with which it functions in human life. The mind is very complex, so much so, nobody cares to understand it. But the entire human life is based upon the mind, geared by the mind. I would even go to the extent of saying that the entire life rests upon the mind. If you understand the mind's measure and magnitude in full measure, then you will find the entire world is resting upon the mind. Our body is physical, as I said. It's a matter-energy aggregate, and it is limited as you are seeing it. But the mind we are able to access through this living body is not at all limited. We cannot say whether the body is in the mind or the mind is in the body. For immediate purposes, it looks that the mind is within the body. But when you understand its power and potential, particularly the dream potential of the mind, a parallel dream world, as I said, is created by the mind. With all the 5 elements, Panchabhutas, and all the ramifications that these are giving rise to, the mind is able to, without anybody's help, suddenly, with a wish or with a will, all these are manifested in no time whatsoever. When you take the dream magnitude, the magnitude of the dream world, it cannot be contained within the body at all. So if such an extensive world can be rooted, can be supported, can be evolved, can be preserved, can also be dissolved by the mind, what do you think of the mind? Is it something limited or unlimited? So the body is in reality in the mind itself. Now, Yoga Vasishta Ramayana, through its protracted dialogue, very interesting, highly philosophical, metaphysical, spiritual, yogic, religious, and all that. It's always trying to tell you about the potential and the possibilities of the mind. So the conflicts are generated and preserved, if at all, by the mind. And the solution has to be offered by the intelligence. Whenever we have conflicts, we only sense or experience the conflicts. You have to focus yourself on the very conflicting mind. What is the subject factor involved in the conflicts that I am experiencing? Then you will come to know the mind itself generates or gives rise to the conflicts. Then you have to tackle it at the very source. Unfortunately, you will find all the conflicts are generated by the outside objects. I don't deny. Outside objects do not generate conflicts outside of the body. They are generating it in our mind. So without the mind's permission, mind's participation, mind sourcing it, causing it, preserving it, and pampering it, the conflicts will not be able to be anywhere there in the world. In as much as mind is the source of all conflicts, if we are able to tackle it at the very source level, you will find these conflicts can be withstood by us, forborne by us, they can be assimilated by us, and any process of assimilation will be a direct resulting enrichment to your personality. This is what I have been speaking about. Now, in order to tackle the conflicts producing mind, and strengthen it, change the philosophy. I am suffering from conflicts. I am suffering from conflicts. Never use the word I am suffering from conflicts. I am experiencing conflicts. Just I am experiencing a beautiful object. I am experiencing so many other things. Conflicts also are experienced by me. For the experience, it is something being experienced. And the experiencer always stands first and last, and the experiences emerge in between and disappear. Who survives what? The experiencer survives all experiences, or the experience survives the experiencer? I am surviving everything in my life. All the other things have come and gone. I have never come and I am never going also. A thought arises, it disappears. Another thought arises, that also subsides. But the source, namely I, the thinker, he always remains there. The thinking substance equally is prevailing. At no point of time the thinker is undone. The thinking substance is obliterated. All the other things are simply obliterated, they disappear. Why don't you understand this? How will you understand? Only by employing the tool called knowledge, wisdom, intelligence. That is why the spirituality becomes a matter of wisdom. An experienced person or an expert in this field, that is what we call sannyasins, ascetics and maharshis, they are capable of handling these mind problems, mind challenges and the other things. So they impart the wisdom which can be heard or read and understood by the intelligence. But what is the trouble in the process? Because no effort is made by anyone to improve the quality and refinement of the mind. That is our problem. We are interested in eating a variety of things, and we will have some festival or the other every month throughout the 12 months throughout the year. And every month you will find it will be a variety of dishes we are interested in. We also have a variety of clothes and many things to put on the body, smear on the body. But what is the balm to be applied to the mind? Any advertisement have you seen anywhere? So we have to generate it ourselves. Try to understand that the mind can be beautified. It can be ornamented. What kind of an ornament? That is what you have to understand, think about. Throughout our day's interactions, we are sensorily involved with the objects. And the interactions and the interactional consequences seem to be overpowering the mind. And the mind always uses its power and potential to see gross objects, external objects of the world. So our mind, our intelligence has only the habit of seeing gross objects. So the gross seeing object, the gross objects, seeing gross objects, that gross seeing potential or habit alone the mind has. Now you have to give the mind something more. Am I clear? Whenever you look at the world, you are seeing gross objects. Whenever you hear a music or any other sound or others' dialogues, it's a gross object. In fact, all objects are gross, so far as the senses are concerned. So the gross seeing capacity of the mind will have to be supplemented by, complemented by subtle seeing capacity. Am I clear? What is the difference between gross and subtle? Whatever is perceptible to the senses comes under the category of gross. And whatever is not perceptible to the senses, what did I say? Not perceptible to the senses means what? That which is inside the body. Anything outside the body can be perceived by the senses, only by the senses. If there is a colorful object, it can only be perceived by the eyes. No other organ is competent to do it. So far as perception or cognizing sounds is concerned, it is to be done a singular task of the ear, that is. Similarly, all the five senses are powerful in their respective areas, but they can function only outwardly. When it comes to the question of mind itself, which motivates, activates the sensory organ, the senses are powerless to tell us anything about the mind. So you have to think about the mind. So what should you do? Side by side with the interactions of the day, you must develop a habit of sit in a room after closing the door, preferably alone. Why should you have a second person? because you are going to see inside. And then sit, try to understand, try to observe, mark my words, the mind processes. What? Have you ever done it? You always say, my thoughts agitate me, my mind depresses me. I would like to know which mind. And what does it do when you say it depresses me? It depresses by what? What is the process of depression? How is it caused? Is there any factor other than the mind? When the mind produces thoughts, is it something non-mental? Huh? What is a thought? Is it a material thought, an energial thought, or it is a mental thought? So it is an offshoot in the mind. So the mind produces some thoughts, produces some memories, produces some emotions, produces some doubts, maybe some knowledge, and all these are evolutes of offshoots of the mind itself. Can the fire be ever burned by the flame? Can the water be wetted by water? Suppose I take a large quantity of a water and pour it strongly from a great height into a lake or into the sea. There will be effervescence, no doubt. But will the ocean water or the falling in water, will they be the least affected? You must give me a clear answer. Why? Because both are water. Both are water. If the thought is mental alone, it is a mental output, a mental product. By giving rise to any extent of mental products, will the mind be affected? After all, the mind produces memory. The memory may be relating to any object, any incident, any episode, any event. But in as much as it is a memory, it is a product of the mind. So you can say it's a mental effervescence. That mental effervescence, can it create any problem? Take a transparent, beautiful bottle consisting of 5 liters capacity. Fill it to the extent of 2 liters. Close it very well and go on shaking it and vibrating it. The water inside will vibrate and there will be a number of bubbles and effervescence. But tell me, does anything happen to the water? After some time, what happens? And do you find any change in water? Now what is this mind? Is it not far more subtle than water and even space? And not only that, all the 5 elements, the objects of existence, they are insentient, jada, inert. Whereas the mind is a sentient product. It's an expression of sentience. So whatever is true of the mind, it is far greater than the objects of existence. So whenever thoughts arise, whenever emotions arise, whenever memory comes and haunts you, or any kind of a concern occupies you, anything whatsoever, understand that the mind is not going to be structurally, substantially, characterally affected. Is this a truth, a fact, or a nonsense? This is a truth which every intelligent person will have to accept. Imagine a plain mirror. In front of the mirror, so many objects pass through. All of them are reflected by the mirror. Blue color is reflected, white color is reflected, red color is reflected, black color is reflected. All these are reflected by the mirror. And every time the mirror reflects the object, it apparently becomes the object. But after some time, when all the objects go away, what happens to the mirror? Does it get cracked? Suppose a karate is reflected by the mirror. You mean to say it's broken? If this is the truth of the mirror, which is a product that we have made, what about the truth about mind, which is a nature-evolved product, a God-made substance? Please tell me. What? This is the truth. I want you to observe the mind and understand this. I don't want you to interfere with the thought processes. Don't follow the thought. Don't interfere with the thought processes or emotional or feeling processes. Only simply observe, observe, observe. The mind is vast enough, as a result of which one portion of the mind can always see what is happening in the rest. Now this training you must give. This is a familiarity that you have to cultivate, because right from the time you open your eyes, you are only seeing gross objects, gross seeing, gross interacting. That is our habit. I want you to put in addition the habit of seeing the subtle thing called the mind itself. This is what I would like you to do. And how long? 20 to 25 minutes. See, I can speak about meditation. I can discuss what exactly is meditation. So I am not going to suggest it to you. I am giving you a knowledge exposure. That's all what is expected now. I also intend. So for about 20 to 25 minutes, you do this. And that will be an initiation of a new spiritual life, mento-intellectual life for you. It will lead you to discoveries. It will lead you to revelations. It will lead you to various other forms of benefit which are enriching and empowering to your day-to-day life. So far as meditation is concerned, only when meditation is taken up in an earnest manner, you will have any kind of a knowledge about the mind. This is also meditation, but I present it in a different manner, that's all. Because I have to steal your hearts. Because if I tell you this is meditation and you do, I know that of all the listeners, even 10% will not do. You will have time for everything else. And even if you meditate, what will you tell me? Swamiji, I sat, I tried. My mind runs. When does the mind run away from your body? If it runs away, then others will have to cremate you. It never exits from the body. Never. Only once. And that is final. So people are saying, mind runs away. How can it run away? It never runs at all. So I want you to understand what exactly is the mind. Now a book, I actually mentioned to you the other day, Brahma Vidya Abhyasa. It is a rendering of the whole subject of spirituality, how you proceed to think, what is called Tattva Vichara or truthful introspection, and what does it lead to. There the meditation is described stage by stage. What are the obstacles to meditation? What are the experiences possible? How the meditational experience and fruition, how are they to be handled, and where will you finally reach, and what is the state of the so-called liberation or samyak jnana, full enlightenment. All these are explained. You can read the book and come to know of it. See, I am wondering how to make it known to you. People always say, I am sometimes being blamed by people. What? People find fault with me and they always scold me. What does it mean? If they find fault with me, there can be only two positions. You have faults, so let them find. If there are faults, the color of your skin, will they not know? So if in your behavior there are faults, will they not know? And if they tell you you have faulty behavior, is there any wrong? So if it is right, you examine what they say. Is it right? You accept and be grateful to them. Invite them for a cup of tea because you have told me my defects. Or if you find that faults are not there, their words are wrong, who is the wrongdoer? You are or they are? If they are the wrongdoer, let them suffer. Why should you suffer? They speak ill of me, but I have no such ill at all. So who is the ill-doer here? You or he? Let him suffer. Why should you contract his blaming cancer? Why should you contract it? So be confident, be confident. Now such a mind can be easily trained. So we have some propositions. Mannindaya yadi jano paridoshamedi nanva prayatna sulabho yamanugraho me shreyorthino hi purushaha paratushti hetoho dukkharjidanyapi dhanani parityajanti. This is the type of thinking that you can avail of. Mannindaya, by blaming me. Yadi jano paritoshamedi. Even if one person is able to find some comfort and delight, how beautiful it is. Nannu aprayatna sulabho yamanugraho me. It's a great blessing for me, for which I have made any effort. I have not made any effort. So without making any effort, simply by giving opportunity for the others to blame me, they are being happy. What are you trying to do in your family? Purchase this, purchase that. Arrange this facility with all these things. You will find your wife herself murmurs first. So we are trying to please the children, please the married partner, please the father, mother, friends and the others. And ultimately, most of the times they are unhappy. So by making effort, others are not smiling and expressing happiness. Here, without making any effort, somebody is happy by blaming me. So, it's a very comfortable position for me. In order to please others, so much of effort is made by every individual and there is no result. It is like pouring water into a basket. Here, comfortable. Therefore, satada sulabhadainnye nissukhe jivaloke yadi mama parivadat pridima prudi kaschid parivadadu yatheshtam mat samaksham tirova jagadihi bahu dukhe durlabha pridiyogaha. My dear souls, you should have a love for wisdom. You only read novels and see the so-called TV, I don't know what it produces. It's informative, no doubt. But you know, these are mind being churned, beautiful subhashitas, proverbial and eternal statements. Satada sulabhadainnye. You know, in this world, dinata, affliction, torment and loneliness, these are spread out everywhere. Nissukhe jivaloke. There is no sukha. Can you all say we are happy, happy, happy? I can give to anybody, I have got a lot of it. Nobody is able to say. That being the case of the world, yadi mama parivadat pridim apnodi kaschid. A single individual is going to be happy by blaming me or ridiculing me or criticizing me or adversely commenting upon me. Parivadatu yatheshtam massamaksham tirova. I wish he comes and blames me in my front so that I can see his joy, at least feel a little joy about it. Mat samaksham tirova, or behind me let him say, Jagadihi bahu dukhe durlabha pridi yogaha. Pridi yogaha means union with pridi, contentment. In this world, very, very rare. Can you not think in this manner? Arre, you have no mind. Arre, this is also a set of thoughts, a kind of a response, a subjective, philosophical, heroic, beautiful response, a stoic response to a situation. So if you treat your mind very well, suppose you don't have any defect and others are speaking unnecessarily about it, then you must be confident. Nindantu niti nipuna yadi vastu vandu lakshmi samavishadu gacchadu va yatheshtam adyaiva va maranamastu yugandare va nyayat patha pravijalandi padam nadhiraha. People of any kind, including judges or the others, even the sages, let them say whatever they like about me, about what I do. Lakshmi samavishadu. Goddess of prosperity may come to me or may reject me. Adyaiva va maranamastu yugandareva. Let death overtake me today or maybe at the end of so many yugas. Nyayat patha pravijalanti padam nadhiraha. Heroic people, courageous people, well-meaning people, honest people, people of integrity and self-confidence will never slip from the path of righteousness. Assume that position. To be truthful is only 50% of the quality. To be truthful and never be mindful of what others say, they impute motives or otherwise to you, you should remain unshakable. This is how you have to ascend in the path of the glorious mind. Am I clear or not? Is it possible? Or only possible for Swamiji? Now, I will go and take up some propositions from Yoga Vasishta Ramayana, some shlokas. You can understand how many things are mentioned. I told you it's a conversation between the Prince Rama, who was 16 years old, and sage Vasishta, the family preceptor. Every day they assembled early in the morning. After Vasishta Dev's ablutions and other things were over, and before dusk they departed for Sandhya Vandana, and 18 days the session continued there. So he was saying, the Yoga Vasishta is a scripture, not dwelling upon the meekness, timidity and rigidity of the human individual. It always speaks about the heroism, the valor, the power of willing and determining. So this is a Paurusha Shastra. What? Have you heard the word Paurusha? That which is called human ingenuity. I am folding my fingers. Do I want anybody's permission? I stand, I walk, I move my limbs, I speak, I think. This is all power within me. And nature is most happy and contented when I employ my organs in a proper manner. If I use my tongue, God the Creator is most happy when I do it well. If I am employing my mind, I think He will be the most happy. So my dear listeners, start employing your organs in a very efficient, effective, integral, glorious, confident and fulfilling manner. Many years back, when I was much younger, I had been to Trivandrum and there was a talk. I generally get affected in my throat, susceptible to cold very much. So my voice completely failed. I took up the platform. I said, I am not able to talk. I will close my eyes and sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then when I open my mouth, if I get my voice, I shall speak. Otherwise, we all have to depart. So I closed my eyes, sat for about 5 minutes, and then began to speak. Somehow it was there. So I said, I will make an attempt. If I am not able to talk, we will come back. All people will recognize. But because a program has been announced, I should go, we should go and make an effort. I could have taken the other path. What? My throat is too much. It's not possible. Let me not damage it. My dear souls, this is the path of Paurusha. Paurusha means that. And do you mean to say I am displeasing God when I use my voice which is given by Him? And to speak about Himself, the Supreme Reality. So, Paurusha is an important factor. So, with this introduction, let me recite this verse. Swayatna matre yadupasako yad taddaiva shabdartham apasya dure shurena sadho padamuttamam tad swapaurushena hi labhyate antaha. Rama, understand. You are telling me that you are depressed. After seeing the entire Mahabharata, that means this subcontinent, by seeing the plights and vicissitudes and fates of the people, you are depressed. And you say that you cannot see a good, right man even in your dream. Janah kama sakto vividha kukala cheshtana paraha saduswapne pyasmi jagadi sujano nadya sulabhaha. Even in dream I am not able to spot a good man. This much is your affliction. And you are about to die. You say, I don't want to live. All this depression you have narrated to me. Now I have to tell you, it's a depression your mind has caused. And this mind has got enough potential in its depth, which if you are able to evoke and display, if you can evoke it and manifest, in the place of depression, it will all become delight and ecstasy. Who will transform the depression into delight? Your neighbor. Huh? This world. This world is jada, it is inert. Even the burning sun and the brilliant moon, are they sentient or inert? What about the Navagrahas? All are inert. Whereas your mind is sentient, vibrant. It can produce thoughts, feelings, emotions and the like. So this inert world causes depression in your mind, the sentient mind. What nonsense is this? Why don't you extricate the depression and generate delight and ecstasy? You know, Shankara has sung, Yogarato va, Bhogarato va, Sangarato va, Sangavihinaha, Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam, Nandadi, Nandatyeva. You may be given to any kind of an undertaking. You may meditate, you may go here, go there, you may be interacting with this world. If your mind is given to that Brahmic thought and the Brahmic perception, there will be only delight, exaltation every time. So the depression is caused by your mind. I will tell you how any extent of depression caused by anybody's mind can be dissolved, can be resolved. But you should understand it is by your own Paurusha, inlying ingenuity. Inlying with the same power by which you raise your hands, you move your tongue, you move your legs, you write, you speak, with the same power you have to introspect, get into the mind sphere and unearth the inner hidden potentials from it. That is what I want. Now this is called self-effort. Right from the birth, we are only doing self-effort. Have you ever done anything else? Only self-effort. Swayatna matre yadupasako yad. Even God is a concept of our mind. The images are made by us. The installation is done by our mind, by our priests, through mantras and sankalpas. So a piece of stone is idolized. It is deified. It is given a godly status. Was the stone an idol before, or only after Kumbhabhishekam consecration? Who consecrated the idol? And who start calling it God? And what are the religious and devotional procedures? They are evolved from by us. So it's a man-made idol, man-made temple, man-made procedures, and man-made practices, and these practices are bearing fruit. In all these things, do you find anything other than self-effort? See, people will not respond. That is why I say, anything, even God is a word written by us in the English dictionary. If you say God, you have to explain it. God is not going to come and explain he has no mouth. That is why he has made many mouths. So, swayatna matre yadupasago yad. So he is making all throughout his own effort. He goes to the temple. He looks at the idol. Does the idol ever look at anybody? Why are we going there? Because it gives us satisfaction. So we make the idol. We start walking. We buy the flowers. We cultivate the flowers. We go. We stand. We offer. We come away. Do you bring the idol along with you when you come back? No, what is it? So it's all swayatna matre, one's own self-effort. Tad deva shabda arthamapa asya dure. Are you following me? At the same time you call it God, God, God. Which God? That God whom you installed. God who has installed himself in the Panchabhutas. Are you worshipping him? Are you worshipping the earth? Worshipping the air? Worshipping the sky? And worshipping all other forms of existence? No. I will not even worship a mountain or even the mother rock. Only that particular portion which was. And then eye, nose, etc. grafted. Then I brought it, and with so many procedures I installed it. I said, now it is God. All of you worship. But where is that? Tad deva shabdartham apasya dure shurena sadho padamuttamam tad swapaurushena ivahi labhyatendaha. The supreme abode is to be attained within the body, not outside. What? The attainment for you is within you, not outside. And within the mind is there, intelligence is there. No third factor is there. These three God's products and God's beings. So God's beings and God's products are there. I don't know whether I should talk in this manner. Suddenly will you come to the conclusion why Swamiji is criticizing? Am I criticizing or am I evaluating? So is it okay with you? Or I am prepared to stop and get away also? Huh? Shurena sadhopadamuttamam tad swapaurushena ivahi labhyatendaha. 10 people go to the temple. They equally pray. 2 people say our prayers are heard and we are fulfilled. And the 8 others say we only prayed, no fulfillment. What is the reason? Please understand this. You have every right to make your mind pure, make your mind glorious, make your mind sublime, make your mind inspired, joyous. That birthright is in us. It's a question of understanding. So, Yoga Vasishta Ramayana is a Paurusha Shastra. How have you to use your Paurusha? He shows these are clues which you can think about and work upon. Param Paurushama Nitva Chittam Ajittadam Tam Mahapadavimehi Yatranasi Nachetaradu. Will you come along with me when I discuss? Not from Chennai, sitting here. Param Paurushama relying upon the supreme will, the supreme ingenuity, the choice that you have, depend upon it and supremely rely upon it. Param Paurushama Nitva Chittam. Are you following me? Nitva Chittam. Lead the mind. Ajittadam, lead the mind to a state where the mind loses its dross. What? The mind drops its impurity. The mind drops its weakness. The mind drops its that manifold character. There are many things in this world. I am desiring a few. I am hating a few. I have fear from a few. This kind of so many emotions are being generated by the mind. As long as this emotional display is there, brought about by the plural perceptions and the plural interactions, that is called the mind state. So lead the mind to a state of purity where it will never reflect plurality, and therefore you will not be subjected to a variety of emotional stresses and strains. Ajittadam, when you reach there, what is that situation? Tam mahapadavi mehi, reach that magnificent, supreme, exalted abode. Am I clear? Reach that. I am showing my hand, but it's actually not, but I cannot show inside. See, my hand will not go here. So I can only demonstrate it in this manner. Tam mahapadavim ehi yatranasi nachedaradi, where find a difference between I am and the others are. Wonderful expression. You know, I marvel at these verses and statements in our scriptures. Marvel at them. Every time I say this, an ascetic sitting possibly somewhere in the Tamasa bank, he took a tufty, a hefty steel pen and cutting across the fibers of leaves, cutting across, he wrote. We don't know where he wrote, what he wrote, the original Grantha we have not seen. That steel pen also we have not seen. Yet we have the written record of what he said and what he wrote. You know how fortunate you people are? Those people who are able to interact in this kind of a situation, listening to these talks, they are considered to be the most honorable. I don't know whether I will have a time to explain to you a verse from Yoga Vasishta itself. Tam mahapadavi mehi yatranasi nachetarad. Now, where neither will you be, nor the other also will be. What does it mean? I told you already that in all your interactions, the interactions are sourced by the mind, they subsist upon the mind, they also conclude in the mind. So all the thoughts and emotions and memories, feelings and emotions, are they not mind's own products? Huh? Can the mind's own product within the body, in the supra-material sphere that the mind has, can any product produced by it be different from itself? No, or else. Can the thought be different from the thinker? Can the thinker and thought be different from the thinking substance? So if the thought were different from the thinker and the thinking substance, every time your mind will be broken into three, broken into three, broken into three. And will there be a mind after so many breakings? Think of the sea. So many waves are arising on the surface. So many waves. Actually, it is an illusion to say so many waves. The waves are arising. One wave arises by the action of wind on the surface. Then that sets down and pushes the adjacent water, and it is another portion that goes up. Though you say the wave is traveling, is there any wave which is traveling? And so many waves, where are they? If so many waves were produced, you must be able to store them somewhere. So in the whole sea, there is only one stretch of water. This is the truth about the sea water. The sea water goes up because there is air, it pushes the air and goes up. So far as the mind is concerned, it is full within your body. So can the mind rise up and then produce a thought? Yes? Oh, there is space. This is why I say you should meditate. See, the mind is subtler than space, Akasha. And Akasha is full everywhere. So the mind is completely present, consciousness is present throughout the body, in which Akasha also is there. Suppose I fill a bottle with water without an air bubble, completely seal it. Can the water rise up even when I shake? So can the mind shake itself, so to say? It is not possible. So it gives you an impression of the thought. What? as a substance or as an elevation or as a mount or a bubble or anything like that. Nothing can take place in the mind surface. So the sense of differentiation, what? The sense of differentiation vanishes, and you start bubbling and giggling with the joy of the non-dual position of the consciousness which expresses itself as the dual mind. Are my expressions clear? This you will be able to understand. So use your Paurusha. Think and find out. By thinking, has the mind become split? Think and find out whether the mind becomes split. One thought after the other, one thought after the other. Observe it, observe it. How this thought process is going on. Who is behind it? How many factors are there? Is it not a display and an interplay of the same consciousness by virtue of its inscrutable power? Are there two things inside the body? Or only one mind? How can the one mind become many thoughts? It can give you the notion of thoughts, but it cannot really become thoughts. The water remains water. The ocean has not become non-water or water plus in the matter of becoming waves. It's all the same thing. This kind of a realization comes to you. Now for this realization, what should you do? Eva yatna kriyate bahyarthoparjane janaihi saeva yatna kartavyaha purvam prajna vivardhaye. What is the effort we make every day in order to acquire external objects by one means or the other? For exterior, gross, external objectives, whatever we are doing, the same effort should be done in order to enhance your power of discretion, power of discrimination, power of wisdom, power of understanding. Is it possible or not? You should take the mind itself as a subject of understanding. Get into the mind layer. Observe your own thought process. Process, I say, not thoughts. And find out how the process is initiated. Where is it prevailing, reigning or subsisting? And how does it get dissolved? What is the power that thinks and what is the power that thinks not? Is there any distance or in-between factor between the thinker and the thought or the thought and the thought? Let us try to enter into it and find out. When you start entering into, and you will find Nihiragayeva niruparjanayeva chasmityetavadaiva galita kaluchitta satta. Ninga purinjigirala? Huh? Am I encouraged to speak or not? Niragayeva niruparjanayeva chasmityetavadaiva galita tavachitta satta. These are from different portions. So Sri Rama is being prepared to become a prince. He said, I am depressed. But Vasishta has decided he is young. That was the time for no depression or withdrawal. He was only 16 years old. He has to live. He has to rule the kingdom. Many great and glorious things which the people have to remember about his life, exquisite life, they have to take place. So he is preparing him. Niragayeva niruparjanayeva chasmityetavadaiva galita tavachitta satta. That thing which you refer to as the mind. Am I clear? Something you don't understand it, let it be. It's an expression of consciousness. That mind, let us consider that the mind is X. That mind will lose its mindness. What? The mind will lose its mindness when niragayeva, when you become free of desires. What? Niruparjanayeva chasmi. I have nothing to gain in this world. I have no desire for anything in this world. Etavadaiva galita tavachitta satta. When the desire becomes extinct and the sense of possessiveness and wanting to possess also disappears, then the mind has lost the mindness. Now you may ask me, Swamiji, what philosophy is this? We are all householders. Can we ever not have desires? I say your desires are useless. They have got no place at all in human life. What are you trying to desire? Any object that you desire, does it ever become yours? You tell me, where is your house standing? Is it on you? Has it ever been added to you? So far as the mind is concerned, can you glue the mind to any object? You still doubt it can be glued. See, the mind is non-material. Because it is non-material, even space is not glued to the other elements. So the mind becomes still finer, and it is consciousness. It is something different, supramaterial substance. Can it ever have anything like a possession? Huh? Tell me. Then why are you having possessions? You don't have possessions, you have nothing. Even the body and mind are associated together, not because of you. They are there. We cannot do anything about it. That is why we are carrying on. To introduce the mind into your child, have you done anything? And to keep it there, are you doing anything? All your treatments are only for the body. So in the mind level, suppose you desire an object, does the object ever physically enter into the mind so that the mind can possess it in itself? So does the mind possess anything at all? Yes or no? You know, I am extremely fulfilled. This is the character of the mind. The mind can never get attached to anything. The child is born and detached from the mother. After that, does the child ever get attached to the mother anymore? What is meant by attachment? Even the dress we are wearing, are we attached to it or is it attached to us? Is it remaining separate from us or is it getting glued to the body? So will the mind ever be glued to anything? No. Then what do you mean by attachment? And suppose you desire an object and the object you have, do you get the object into the mind or do you have a feeling of possessiveness about it? So this possessiveness, is it right or not? There you are reserved, is it not? Is this possessiveness right? Do you ever possess, can the mind ever possess anything? If the mind is, it is impossible for the mind to possess anything, because if it has to possess something, it has to go into the mind. Is it not? Then only it can be possessed. If I have to possess this watch, it has to come to my hand, I must hold it. Can the mind similarly hold any object, because the objects are outside and the mind is inside? So can any object be possessed by it? So is the mind non-possessional by character or it is possessive by nature? This is spiritual mathematics. You cannot escape the answer. Can it ever possess anything? Or it is non-possessional by quality and character? Then why should you desire at all? This is another delusion. I say all experiences are mind-born, now you say body needs. No, I don't stop there. You have a desire for an object, you get hold of it, agreed. If you have got it, previously you had a desire, now that you have got it, will the desire prevail or become extinct? Huh? So the fulfillment of desire means extinction of desire. Is it not? So why don't you have desire freedom and permanent extinction? In the language of the mind, fulfillment of desire means absence of the desire. Therefore, if you want to have a full mind and a full fulfillment, it is exactly paryapta kamasya kritatmanastu ihaiva sarve praviliyanti kamaha. When you have this understanding, automatically all the desires produced by the objects will be led to extinction. In this way, with desire extinction, floating in that ecstasy of desire extinction. Am I clear? And whom is Vasishta speaking to? To Sri Rama, the 16-year-old Sri Rama. Niraga eva niruparjana eva chasmi tyetavataiva galita tava chitta satta nirdukham uttama padam paramam gatosi. Once you are able to lead the mind in this way and understand the beauty and the relevance of desire extinction, you reach a state of nirdukham uttama padam. You reach such a state. Tishto bashamda paramaishana eva mantaha. Inside you, maximum you desire this upashama and quietude. Bodily you may sit on the throne, mentally you have your seat in this nirvana, in this kind of a release, where you have a sufficiency, where you have an affluence, where you have an inundation. This can be generated by the mind. See, you are all very poor people. You don't want riches. When you are devoted to God, who possesses the whole universe, the son of a rich man will never think of poverty. When you are going to belong to God, and God is the universal Lord, will you not possess the whole riches of the entire world? Huh? Now you have a feeling, I have a family. You know what feeling I have? I have the whole universe and beyond. So who is better? You are better or I am better? Huh? No answer. I think you are better. I think if we were a program tomorrow, then I would ask you to speak and I will hear. See, what is this? We are counting our belongings. Actually, why should you count your belongings, or you stop counting and find out to whom you belong? We cannot live without air even for a moment. So our lungs, our system belongs to the air, belongs to water, belongs to food, belongs to sunlight. There is nothing that is belonging to us. So when you find that I myself belong to God, whose is the whole universe? Am I going to be universally great and rich, or am I going to be poorer? Mustard. Tell me. Ayamevahamityasmin sangoje vilayam gade samasta bhuvanavyavi vistara upajayade. Such a beautiful statement. Ayamevahamityasmin sankoje vilayam gade. If I am able to treat my mind and dissolve that sankocha, that constriction, ayamevahamityasmin. I am this puny little trifling body which was given birth through my mother's womb, and I am subsisting on the air for a few years, and after some time I will perish. So I become mortal and always fearful. Dissolve this feeling. When you dissolve it, samasta bhuvana vyabhi vistara. There is a universal, endless, extensive expanse. The entire universe becomes an extension of your mind, an extension of consciousness that you are. Vishwa prapanja rajaneyam asatya rupa nasatya rupa manudhavati ramatajnaha tajnosi shantakalanosi niramayosi nityoditosi bhavasundara shantashogaha. You know, if you can recite a few of these verses, I think you will get liberated in 41 days. Because they are such nectarine thoughts. Who is going to tell you? Have your parents told you? Does any of your friends speak to you? I was very happy to hear that Paramarthanandaji has been continuously staying in this great town, in great city, and he has been taking different classes in different places. Hundreds of people are listening to him. Madras, Chennai has got that culture. I heard when I was staying with Padma Bhushan Ganapati here, his father Arunachala Shastrigal, a contemporary of Ramana Maharshi, he used to take Vedanti classes every day. I was told by him. And even Ramana Maharshi used to say, why are you coming here? There is a living Arunachalam there. Why don't you listen to him? This I have heard. And then another Varahur Kalyana Sundara Shastrigal, he was also taking. They were not perhaps fully ascetics, at least externally. Now here is our Swamiji, who is a full ascetic. So I am very happy. Such people will be able to tell you something like this. This is the greatest treasure. Vishwa prapanja rachane yamasatya rupa. This Vishwa prapanja rachana. What? This creation that you call the universe, asatya rupa, it is untruthful. Why? Whatever you see in the outside world really is not an outside entity. It is always felt as an impression in your consciousness, in your mind. So for my experience, it is impression made by my consciousness. Do I ever feel grossly and solidly an external object? Or am I feeling an impression of it in my consciousness? So the entire universe is an extension of my consciousness. My consciousness is not gross. Is it gross? Is it like solid like the earth, liquid like water, gaseous like air? something like matter and energy, no. So it's an extension. So it is, consciousness extends itself to be this gross, manifold, multi-pronged universe. So is it true or untrue? Is the dream world true or untrue? The dreamer is true. The dream world, is it true? Huh? You have still doubt. The same dreamer is the waker now. So is my waking world true or the waker true? Huh? Why don't you come out? See, that reluctance, this, when the truth is expressed, no reluctance people have. Conventional constrictions prevent us. Vishwa prabanja rajaneyama satya rupa na satya rupa manudhavati rama tajnaha. Tajnaha, very beautiful word. The man who knows the supreme truth, that one thing, the supreme reality, he will not follow or pursue the unreal and the evanescent. Tajnosi, you have become illumined, Rama. Shanta kalanosi, your mind's agitation has subsided. Niramayosi, you have more agitation, disorder, affliction, torment, confusion, distortion in your mind. Nityoditosi. So every time the mind thinks, that thought should be the visible splendor of your mind. Am I clear? Huh? Your thought should be the palpable splendor, that resplendence, the brilliance and the beauty of the mind. If the mind were not to think, would you ever know that there is a mind? You would have become autistic. The mind is thinking. That is why you are able to say and feel that it is there. Nityoditosi bhava sundara shanta shogaha. All your grief, lament and torment having subsided, your mind starts hosting beautiful quietude, beautiful beatitude. With that floating inside your body, continue to live in this world. Ekadapatram avanau gurunopadishtam samyak supalaya chiram samayekha drishtya rajyam samasta gunaranjita rajalogastyago nayukta iha karmasu nabhiragaha. First of all, you must have a love and faith, you know. Faith in listening to these things, it is much more than what you have to God and temple. Before Guru Bhakti, Ishvara Bhakti may not be anything even, if you were to balance the two. See, Vasishta speaks and Rama is hearing. Perhaps, I wish all of you are Ramas. Ekata patram avanau gurunopadishtam samyak supalaya chiram samayekha drishtya. This wonderful kingdom, which you are going to inherit because of the royal birth that you have, simply remain comfortably on the throne. Rajyam samasta gunaranjita rajalogastyago nayuktaha. Such a beautiful royal bequest when you are getting. To abandon it will be unnatural, disorderly and disharmonious. At the same time, Rama, in the light of the enlightenment that I am providing you, in the light of the realization that the consciousness cannot get glued to anything at all, never foster a desire. What? Never foster a desire. Everywhere you must have samayekha drishtya. You must always have an equal vision. Whether it is pleasant or unpleasant, success or defeat, gain or loss. Whether it is the kingdom to be abandoned, or wife to be abandoned, or children to be abandoned. Anything, everything that providence, chance brings about, accept it and float impartially, impersonally, ecstatically, with disattachment everywhere. Everywhere. So far as this as an experience is concerned, I have already run the time. Andashunyo bahishunyo shunya kumbhayivambare andaf purno bahipurno purna kumbhayivarnave. If you start experimenting and plunging into yourself, you will find that all the blemishes and scars caused by the so-called mind display, brought about by my interactions with the world, all these things will vanish and there will be almost something like nescience. What? Is the word clear? Nescience, not filling in the system. At other times you will find you will be so happy, comfortable, delightful, ecstatic, ethereal, that you will start feeling Antah Purno Behih Purno Purna Kumbhaivarnave. It is something like a pitcher filled fully and dropped into the sea. It is the other state is the same pitcher taken to the space where nothing is inside. Both are capable of surging up within your system. Nana tvamasti kalana sunavastunom darnana vidhasu sarasishu jaladivanyad ityega nishchayamayah purusho vimuktaha ityuchyade samavalokita samyagarthaha. This is how, you know, this knowledge, the mind becomes so knowledge oriented, knowledge enriched. That knowledge starts smearing the mind to such an extent that the feeling of duality, the feeling of manifoldness, the mind ever splitting, the mind having a scar either by memory or by attraction or by repulsion, all these things become alien and they drop off like the full moonlight. The entire mind becomes a beautiful moonlight, the full moon daylight. Nanatvamasti kalanasu. Only in your imagination, in your thought process, there are many things, manifoldness. Na vastunontaha. Inside your mind never becomes many at all. Nana vidhasu sarasishu jaladivanyad. It is just like so many lakes and so many oceans. There is only one water. Ityeka nishchayamayaha. Now have a decision, a resolution, your own finding, your own ascertainment in this manner about the non-dual, homogeneous, singular, that beautiful splendor everywhere. That nishchaya, whoever has, my dear Rama, Purusho Vimuktaha. It is this nishchaya that makes him liberated. It is this knowledge, Pratjnanam Brahma, Ityuchyade Samavalokita Samyagarthaha. Because he has been able to understand the true meaning of spiritual wisdom, the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita and the like. There is always, these are all penetrating in our acharas and practices. You know, when people are greeted, sometimes they say, Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha Sannyasa Yogadyataya Shuddha Sattvaha Te Brahma Loke Tu Paramta Kale Paramrutaha Parimuchyandi Sarve. That first line, Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha. If you are a human being, particularly an Indian, you will have to decide upon the object of your life, the object of your pursuit, on the basis of the discriminating wisdom provided by the Upanishads. For such people, you have this Gayatri every day. What is this Gayatri? Dhiyo yo na prachodayad. I am contemplating upon the supreme inner brilliance so that it can illumine, activate, inspire my intelligence, our intelligence in the three states. This is what we say. That kind of an interaction with the subject you must always have. When you start interacting, using the mind, using the intelligence with your own subject, with your own self, in the way of an introspection, in the way of a reading, and sometimes by contemplation and the process which I told you, you will find the whole picture will start changing. And what will be the ultimate outcome? You will never be repelled by the world. What? And you will never be allured or attracted by the world. The world will become co-existential and harmonious with you, and you will become harmonious with the world, co-existential with the world. There will be an integral process working between you and the world. All the other things will simply vanish. The mind will never invite or accommodate any kind of a scar by virtue of living and interactions. Interactions will be a free-flowing, harmonious note everywhere. You may scold, you may be scolded. You may speak sweetly. Sometimes you may get tense, stress. Everything is okay. When we are climbing and negotiating a gradient, Will not our heart accept more? Sometimes we may have to become a little angry with the children, all right, but at heart you will never get angry at all. Behi kritruma samrambho hridi samrambha varjidaha karta behira kartamdaha loke vihara raghava. Externally you have all the ostentation of I am busy, I am working, I have a load, we have no objection. But internally, hridi samrambha varjidaha, never feel I have anything to do. That egoistic position don't have. Karta behihi, externally you are the father of your children. Internally, I am not father of anybody. Not clear? Are they not conflicting? Huh? But this is the state of wisdom. These are conflicts, is it not? Externally you are a performer, but internally you are impersonal, impartial, and a zero. Remaining in this manner, loke vihara raghava, live in this world sportfully, enjoyingly, relaxingly, exultingly, enrichingly. You should enrich the world and get enriched every time. Now I stop. May all of you be blessed with elevation, enrichment and enlightenment. Have no fear at all. Have confidence, joyfulness and hope. Let the mind be full. Let the mind be full with its own enrichment. Let the intelligence become stable and illumined. And you are already full with the self. Realize this truth. Harihi Om Tats Jai Guru.